Speed. Okay. Roll camera.
Scene 4, take 1.
Action.
I mean, for some time, the impression has been growing upon me that everyone is dead. I mean, just listen to what everyone's talking about. It's what everyone talks about. Everyone is saying the same thing.
Cut.
When that plane went down, David was figuring out how to be true to himself as an artist.
Hello?
He had an insatiable appetite for everything.
A bunch of us moved to New York after college. We all wanted to be writers, filmmakers, musicians. David was an artist. He very much wanted to be an artist. But you can't do it if you don't do it all the way.
Right.
And I think David wanted to do it all the way.
David was one of the people who you expected to produce the great American novel. He was passionate about wanting to write and constantly scribbling in his notebooks.
And he always had a notebook because he was always writing and looking around intensely. He was like looking, he was thinking, he would walk through a restaurant, ask people what they were eating. I mean, he was sort of hyper alive.
He was living at the Penny Lane. It was his, I guess it's your uncle's place. So that was, pretty fancy digs.
Roll camera. Slate.
Scene 8, take 1.
Action.
For some time now, the impression has been growing on me that everyone is dead. I mean, just look what I'm talking about. It's the same thing everybody.
Yeah, he got more and more interested
And
in acting.
you know what I mean.
That wasn't his thing. I don't think that was ever going to be his thing.
It's the truth, isn't it?
And he was like, very meta in his approach to acting.
It costs a lot of money to live here.
So he lived on the 23rd. It was a very small room with a balcony that was as big as the living space.
Yeah, it is nice. Yeah, I just moved here.
It had a really nice view, and he was really proud of that particular place, but it was a very Spartan existence.
And how's anybody get an apartment in New York?
So he had a sheet that was duct taped to the floor.
Take 2.
That's where he slept. No mattress. And he had all around him stacks and stacks of books. He would read constantly all day long.
Cut.
I've made a recording of my poem. It is entitled Thoughts on Love and Verse, Tuesday, February 5, 12:30 p.m.
David also used to leave very long and involved messages on your phone machine.
It was a cloudy day. I came upon a groundhog. It was making love to a pigeon.
Once David left me a 50-minute message on my answering machine. He ate up the entire tape.
What I'm saying is what the schizophrenic in this last chapter of the book is supposed to say.
He was reading from Thomas Merton into my machine. I think he read a couple of Pound's cantos, and then he just rambled on.
I'm too tired to talk quickly, and so I'll talk slowly because I am who I am, and this is different than writing, but it's still making up what you want to say as you're saying it.
What was your sense of, what was he doing in New York?
He seemed to be bouncing from job to job. And I remember he had Xeroxes all over the house. David Dornstein, like his face. He Xeroxed his face over and over.
I mean, but work is not the most important thing to me anymore.
He always looked a little disheveled. So I wanted to feed him. Like I'd bump into him and it's like, David, have you eaten? And he'd be like, oh, I had, peanut butter 3 days ago. He'd be like, come on, David, you've got to eat. Come on, I'm going to feed you. You know, David, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, David? We all were trying to cobble together little jobs. You did what you had to do so you could afford rent, usually with a roommate, and write or act.
No, I used to work for a newspaper. Yeah, but it was even worse.
And when David died, we were all sort of at the very starting out level.
Action.
And since then, if you look, you know, people have moved forward. They're producing movies, they're directors, they're, you know, well-known writers, well-known actors, not so well-known actors or writers. And I think David, you know, if he had lived, he would have been among them. I think he absolutely would have been a writer. That's what he wanted to do.
I don't think too many people who know me have any illusions about the kind of person that I am. They may not understand me, but they don't have too many illusions. That, like, Dave's perfectly normal, or the other Dave's perfectly insane. I mean...
But, you know, I think he feared for his sanity, a little bit.
Find a psychiatrist, or...
But I think he was trying to prod himself into art. I mean, a lot of people were doing that. And he was good at it.
It's the classic age-old line of madness or genius. And man, right now I feel like I'm straddling the line, and I can't stand it. You know?
David didn't edit himself.
Which is a good thing.
He didn't hold
It's
back.
a good thing because it's close to the surface. Got its own
He had read in Nietzsche that one should always say yes. And so I remember probably for a solid week, he would just say, yes, I'm gonna say yes. That's what we do, we say yes. And he wouldn't sleep, he lived his life saying yes. He just took in everything. And when the rest of us were sleeping, he was reading and writing. And when the rest of us were awake, he was more awake.
Monday, 9:20 p.m. Here's my Lionel Richie imitation. Hello, is it me you're looking for? And I wonder where you are. And I wonder what you're doing. I have to tell you slowly, I love you.